everybody. Hi there, welcome to the channel. This is Tino McGazz, and this is my first one. I don't know how many that I've watched of everyone else, and today, after all the Scottish football meltdown that we've had, I decided to start doing this sometimes. We'll see how it goes. I mean, opinions are like, you can fill that in yourself, but everyone's got them. But the mainstream media seem to have quite a lot of opinions today about last night's game against Motherwell, which Celtic won 3-2 at Fir Park. And basically I'm here to talk about that. Before I even talk about it, though, I just want to mention some of the reasons that I'm even doing this, right? Look at this incredible background here that I've assembled. First of all, that wallpaper, look at that. Look at those Celtic tops strewed across the bed, and look at that over there. What was it over there? So I don't know. Can't do it. There it is. There. Look at that cow, Scottish cow, proving my Scottish authenticity. So that's out of the way. Now the next thing to say is that ultimately, Celtic are wildly successful, right? And there's a reason why people hate Celtic. Okay, and the reason that they hate Celtic is because they win things all the time. And if they keep winning things all the time, then that means that people are going to start to get tired of it, that are not Celtic fans like us, and they're going to try and bring us down and, be delighted when we fail, be delighted when we struggle, and all that kind of stuff, right? So that's where this is coming from, all this meltdown that we've had today, and we will go into it in a bit of detail about why I feel that it's been just completely overblown over a very simple decision that took about 17 seconds by the referee to make when he went to VAR. Had it happened 32 minutes into the game, nobody would have batted an eyelid. It would have been fine. It's because of it happened in the 96th minute of the game, and Kelechi Iheanacho stepped up and smashed the ball into the net to send Celtic into a big game on Saturday. So that's that. We'll get into that a bit later. Right, now the first thing is first. I want to just give a few shout outs to some people that have kind of just inspired me to even do this video in the first place, right? So John Paul Dykes and the team over at Axon, you guys I watch you every single day, or every other day, and it's a massive inspiration to have real Celtic fans on there, just like giving real opinions in the face of the mainstream media. And it's always nice to cut through all of the kind of, the hatred, the bigotry, or whatever it may be, to just get some real opinions from people that support the same football team as I do. I'd like to shout out to 20 Minute Tims. Obviously, I'll listen to that, I'll watch that as much as I possibly can. And I always love watching their videos, always enjoy their takes on things. So again, just a shout out to, all the lads at 20 Minute Tims. Right, okay, so let's basically get into it then, shall we? So for those of you that probably were living under a rock and just woke up now, you probably have found out that Celtic have won 3-2, and now it's a huge game on Saturday. If Celtic win the game, we're champions, 5 in a row champions, in the craziest season that has ever been in recorded Celtic history. I think no Celtic fan would disagree. The COVID season is Mickey Mouse compared to this season. We are one win at Celtic Park away from winning a title that most people would say was unlikely, basically. And all we have to do is beat Hearts for the first time this season, and we are the champions of Scotland for the 5th consecutive year. So that's the first part of the video. The second part is coming soon. Right, okay, so we're back. So thanks for bearing with me while I transitioned so beautifully there. First transition. I mean, round of applause? No, I didn't think so. Right, okay, so first things first. Let's talk about Chris Boyd, shall we? Chris Boyd, the pantomime Rangers villain Sky Sports commentator. He couldn't stop last night, could he, in his meltdown about how Celtic are just cheating their way to another title, mentioning all these big calls that have gone against, obviously his Rangers and Hearts and Scottish football of late, and it's just brilliant. Really, it's food really when Chris Boyd goes on one of his meltdowns, and one of the things that I saw from Paddy Power was quite fun about how he's been running around the streets of Glasgow saying they've turned the wains against us. Right, so anyway, right, that's enough childish stuff. Essentially, let's deal with the elephant in the room, shall we? Or the Scottish cow in the room. The penalty decision that Daisen Maeda should have got before the end of the first half, when the keeper ran out to clear the ball and absolutely bulldozed Maeda to the floor, and Maeda was on the floor for a bit, and I was worried he was injured and out for the last game of the season if we made it. And nothing, not a yellow card, not a red card, not a monitor look, nothing. And the arguments that I've heard about that is that Maeda was backing in a bit. So Maeda has beat the offside trap. He's running through on goal. He turns his back because he's planning to, when the ball arrives, loop it maybe over the keeper or do something to try and control it. But before he can make a decision about that, he's completely wiped out by the goalkeeper. It should have been a penalty and a red card for Motherwell. Nothing. Then later in the game, obviously, the ball, 96 minutes or so, the ball gets flung in the box, long throw, and Austin Trusty goes up for a header, and the Motherwell defender jumps up with his arm in the air, puts his hand on his forehead, and heads the ball away. And the ball flies quite far, because it probably hits a bit of his head, but brushes his hand and flies off. And then Trusty goes down holding his head because the guy's elbow is directly in his head. Beaton goes to the monitor after VAR intervened, and he looks at it for about 17 or 20 seconds, and it's a penalty to Celtic. And just one word I'd like to say just on this one, right? Liam Scales, when he stood up what I thought was to take the penalty, I was freaking out, right? But I realise now after the fact, after seeing the highlights, that was heroic of Liam Scales, because he grabbed the ball and he made sure that he had the ball and nobody could, mess with him, and nobody could mess with the situation, and just being strong before and allowed the other players to get the Motherwell players behind the line, and then handed the ball to the captain, who handed it to Iheanacho. And Celtic's Iceman, I think he's been called, right? I mean, that penalty under that pressure, just to slot it in with a staggered run up and shove it in the corner. It's, for me, and this is what I've been wrestling with today, I don't necessarily think that Celtic will, Celtic will win the league, I think, on Saturday by beating Hearts. But I think where we won the league was probably at Motherwell in the penultimate game of the league season in a 3-2 victory against a slick, well-oiled, well-drilled, well-managed Motherwell team that we beat. When, I'll be honest, I went into the game thinking a draw probably, and then lap of the gods on the last day. Hope the Hearts wouldn't score too many goals. They scored 3 against Falkirk. And to be honest with you, I mean, going into that last game with a 2-2 draw, I was already thinking, it's not going to happen. It's too much. It's pushing it too far. I don't think that Celtic have got enough to win by 3 to 5 goals or something without reply against this Hearts side. But now the picture has changed. All we need to do is basically beat Hearts at home in front of 60,000 raucous Celtic fans that will be, just slabbering for 5 in a row, halfway to 10. I just don't see that Hearts have a huge chance in the game. The case for the Hearts, right? Let's do the case for Hearts, right? They just need a draw. That's not helpful. A team coming to Celtic Park, if that team, Celtic, are trying to play to win a game to win a league, if they've got even in their mind that a draw will do, they'll lose. Also, Derek McInnes coming out, and we need to touch on Derek McInnes, the Hearts manager. Remember, this is a Hearts manager that is a Rangers fan, so it'll make it even more sweeter when you beat him on Saturday and you see his crumpled face on the sidelines, coming out and calling the decision and the penalty disgusting. Do you know what I would call disgusting? I think it was last season before. We had a player, Iwata, and Iwata jumps up in the box and the ball hits his hand and he's facing the other way, and Celtic get a penalty against them in that game. That's disgusting, because the player didn't even know he'd handballed it and was still penalised. That Motherwell defender jumps up to try and win the ball and his arm is raised. He knows what he's doing. His arm is above everybody else's head. It strikes a bit of his hand, probably his hand in his head, and as long as it touches the hand in that position, it's a penalty in the box. And it's a penalty, and that's why, as I said before, John Beaton just went to the monitor, looked at it for 5 seconds or something, and just said, "Aye, penalty." Simple as that, right? So, yeah. Anyway, Derek McInnes, it'll be sweet to beat him. I can tell you that right now. It'll be sweet. Absolutely sweet. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about in this first ever video is just, well, there's a couple of things, really. Just firstly, I just want to talk about maybe it's not a good idea for a first video when you're talking about Celtic, but just calling out the legacy and the great 11 years of service that James Tavernier has given to Celtic Football Club. He has been instrumental in us winning, like 14 titles in the time, countless trophies, countless, maulings of Rangers throughout those years. And, I would like to think that he has been truly, truly iconic for Celtic. What happened yesterday basically bled one of the funniest pictures that I've ever seen on the internet of it, which I'll post up here, of course, round about now. But basically, they're calling him a legend. He's won almost nothing. I think like one COVID trophy that nobody cares about when everybody was locked in their home in dungeons and couldn't go out. That is his legacy. And scoring 455,000 penalties. That's it. That's his legacy. And what I just want to call out, not only what a great servant he's been, but the treatment of him, or his treatment of them, has been just nothing short of hilarious today when that all came out. And yeah, I mean, that just leads me really just into, because Celtic and Rangers are the kind of the rivals, but this season it's Celtic and Hearts, but historically anyway. Yeah, I mean, it just leads me to saying Danny Rowe at Rangers, I mean, what's that? Post split, 4 cup finals, 4 defeats in cup finals. One more game to go, one more cup final to go against Falkirk. Kind of fancy Falkirk in that, so that's 5 cup final losses. And he's been given a couple of votes of confidence. Now, I mean, I hope they keep him. I hope he stays. I love Danny Rowe because he's not a nasty guy. He doesn't strike you as a nasty person, and he's just like another agent for Celtic that is just in the background, just making sure that things are okay for us. That even in our worst ever season, we could still finish second in a Champions League spot against a very consistent Hearts this year, or win it, and Hearts would be gutted, but they should come again. And Rangers could be staring at 3rd place for the foreseeable if Hearts spend a bit of money, and they probably will under their new investment under Tony Bloom. So, yeah, that's basically all I wanted to touch on in this video. And just to finish it off by saying that I don't know where you're going to be watching the game on Saturday. I don't know what you're fancying, but I'll be watching it in a Celtic Sports Club in London. where I live, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm getting up early on Saturday. I'm getting some scran, getting there to soak up some atmosphere and some Guinness around about 11 a.m. and I'll be wearing this top, because this top is the top that I wore for all the split games. And so basically, I'll be wearing that one. I'm not going to wear one of these ones behind me or one of the hundreds that I have. I'm confident. I'm confident in the game. I don't know what the feeling is amongst you lot. I'm confident in the game because I don't see Celtic with this chance now, which didn't look as if it was possible, not grasping a victory against Hearts, your main rivals all season, to win 5 titles consecutively. I can't see Celtic losing that game over 90 minutes. I can't see it. And yeah, that's it. I don't really think that Hearts would have the ability to negate what is going to be a completely partisan atmosphere. Just Celtic Park will be full of just a sea of green and white, and the tifo there, and the fans are kind of united behind the team at the moment under Martin O'Neill, who, has been incredible this season, twice coming back to save our skins. And no matter what happens, I mean, everybody will hold their hand up and just say thanks to Martin O'Neill. Yes, so that's it. I'm going to post another video no matter what happens after that game on Saturday. And thanks a lot for watching. Like and subscribe, I guess. And, I'll see you guys on the next one. And hail, hail. Take care.